Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Deborah Jenkins, and I'm your host for Black Talk Platform. Welcome. Come on in the room. We're going to get started right on time because I'm so excited, and I say this often, but I really am very excited about tonight's guest because he helps to round out our celebration here at Black Talk Platform of Black Music Month. Did you all know that this was Black Music Month? We have so much music. It's in our souls. It keeps us going. I don't know about you, but it always helped pick me up when I was a child, and it continues to do so. Craig Crawford of the Craig Crawford Players is my guest tonight. Welcome, Craig, to Black Talk Platform.
Thank you, Dr. Deborah Jenkins. It's such a pleasure to be here with you.
Oh man, we're so excited to have you. Now, I was saying to Craig, everybody, that I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be a little bit better. So I'm going to actually read his bio because I don't want any part of it missed. I don't want you all to miss who this is in our presence, because he is someone who I've looked at for many years, actually, in social media as he moves with his music, in his church, and even producing shows that you all may or may not be familiar with. But let me get right into the bio so I don't give it away as I talk. The Craig Crawford Players, the velvet melodies of Brooklyn-born saxophonist Craig Crawford, leader of the Dove Award and 3-time Stellar Award nominated Craig Crawford Players, convey all that is New York City on a clear, crisp day or a rainy night. Like a craftsman who has perfected his tool, Craig masterfully weaves together a blend of inspired and moving arrangements, sure to connect the heart and soul with his players, skillfully navigating the ride. Never afraid to bring on the funk, Craig and his players turn up on their hard-hitting compositions, delivering an unpredictable, sharp-edged jazz sound without apology. Never one to cram his talent into a box, Craig and his players have performed for diverse audiences at the BET, Jams, St. Albans Jazz Festival, and around the world. Craig and his band have had the privilege of performing with high-profile artists, including Najee, Donnie McClurkin, Denise Williams, and the late gospel patriarch James Cleveland, to mention a few. In addition, Craig is a TV and video producer, cameraman, editor, who has provided media segments for Fox, ABC, Bloomberg TV, Madison Square Garden, and several other news and media outlets. He is the creator and co-executive producer of the reality TV sitcom on USA Network TV network entitled The Rev. He has traveled the globe with Hall of Famers Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Oscar Robertson, and many other pro basketball players. Craig has written, produced, and performed musical scores for HBO, NBC, PBS, MSG, Nickelodeon, and Fox Television. Craig keeps moving ahead and won't slow down. Everybody, that's Mr. Craig Crawford tonight. That is an impressive bio, Craig. Talk about it.
I don't like to talk about myself, but I can tell you this much. I am always excited to see where God plants me next. It's an awesome job and relationship to have one with your Father God, and to see where he takes you. God is just, as you read all those different things that I've done, I get there and I just say to myself and God, God, this is incredible. As I'm sitting there talking with, people like Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen, and I just say, God, it's incredible, because it just happens in a God kind of way. And I get a phone call and they said, Craig, I need you to go to come to China for 3 weeks. And I'm like, okay, what's the details? And, I get there and I see all the guys that I watched on TV in the NBA, and I'm responsible for shooting and putting together all the footage for the trip for 3 weeks. So there's a lot of scramble going on because I've got to prepare for so much. And the same thing when I'm providing segments for different outlets like Bloomberg TV and HBO. When I got to do music for musical scores for and theme music for HBO documentaries, it was another incredible opportunity. But I have to say this, and this is it's the truth. It's nothing but God, because without my relationship with God and without me looking to God, I was telling my son today. He asked me what kept me on the road, and my son is 31. He said to me, my son asked me, what kept you on the straight and now on the path?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, when I was in my 20s, there was a scripture that I read, and it was John 8:12. And it says, Jesus is the light of the world. They that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. So that was Jesus saying, I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't be in darkness. So I realized what God was saying was, if you don't follow me, you're walking around blindly.
Mm.
If you follow me, I'll show you the light and I'll show you which way to go. So I realized that I'd have to be a fool not to follow God. I'd have to be a fool to try to do things my way. And I've seen so many people try to do things their way, and some succeed and some, didn't quite make it. But when you go God's way, the mistakes are minimal. The mistakes are they're almost none. You probably, I liken it from going from the back of the line, being escorted to the front.
Wow. I like that. I like that. When you go with God,
Yeah.
and you're really clear about it,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Is your son a musician as well?
My son is, he's a great guy. I was talking to him today. He called me up, and he did play the saxophone, but he gave it up for graphic design. So
Okay.
he's currently now working for a news channel in New York, doing graphic design there. So I'm very proud of him and my daughter, who
Awesome.
are doing great things. And your children are a reflection of you. I'm a reflection of God, and I try to reflect God onto them. And I thank God because we're just reflecting God over and over again.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to take a pause right there to share with them a post that you had made on Facebook. And I was saying to Craig before, everybody, I couldn't remember if he made this post today or yesterday, but he'll probably know when I put it up there because it hit me. It hit me. And like many of your posts, some are comical, to keep it light, but some really inspire. And this is one that really inspired me. Was that this morning or yesterday?
That was a couple days ago.
Look,
But
everybody, I'm just off. I'm
no,
off.
no, no,
Okay.
no. You saw it when God wanted you to see it.
That's right. That's
Hmm.
right. He's trying to help me, everybody. Y'all know it's gonna be one thing I'm gonna miss, but this I saw it today. Actually I saw it yet. I don't know. He
Hmm.
said he put it up there 2 days ago. I'm
Hmm.
putting it up here for you all to see today and be blessed. Just in case you're hearing your vision impaired, I'm going to read it. It says, "Plant the seeds for the harvest you expect. Everything starts in seed form and grows into an experience." That is so powerful to me because so often, Craig, we are afraid to even plant the seed for
Yeah.
fear of really what might grow up and how we may be ill prepared to
Yeah.
water it and to shepherd it to growth. Tell us, how do we get from that fear to believing that something good is going to grow and that we will be able to be a part of that growth?
Well, first I have to give credit where it's due. A lot of what I quote, I hear directly from my pastor, A.R. Bernard at CCC.
Okay.
And He's been, when I started going to CCC in, I'm going to say 2004, it was like going from elementary school to grad school. I never thought I would be taking notes like I take notes in church. And he was just dropping bombs every Sunday. It was just incredible to hear him.
Wow.
But to answer your question, if I remember the question.
Well, I just asked, how does one get beyond the fear of even planting the seed, in fear that it may not grow? And if it does grow, we won't be able to shepherd it in the way that will maintain the growth.
Well, let me say this. Everything starts with a step. The Bible tells us that God is the author and the finisher of our faith. So God will give you the faith. He's the author, and he's going to finish what he's given you to complete. He's going to finish it. So what he's waiting for you to do is to take the first step. So here's a good example. I just finished talking about my trip to China with all these NBA stars, and I mean, it was an incredible trip. But just prior to that, I made an investment into some video camera equipment, expensive tripod, nice bag, and I mean, I had all the top of the line stuff. Not knowing exactly where I was going with it, but I knew I wanted to do something with it. And I studied video production from the age of 18 as an intern, and made a career out of it. So I purchased this equipment, not knowing what I was going to do with it, and that's when I made the first step. That was the first step in my faith, was purchasing the equipment. So not only did I travel to the Philippines, Manila, Taiwan, China, Kaohsiung, so many different places in Asia. But I used that same camera to shoot all these NBA stars, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Oscar Robertson, all these folks that are legends and Hall of Famers. When it came time to do the Rev, the USA TV network reality show, The Rev, I was using the same camera that I bought years ago which was a step of faith, to do all these different things that I was able to capture. So like the Bible tells us, and God is not a man that he would lie, that if you take that first step, God is the author of your faith, and he finishes the deal. God closes the deal, but you've got to take that first step, and I know it's scary, because when I made the investment, we were talking about $6,000-$7,000 worth of equipment, and I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I knew if I didn't have the camera, I'm not giving myself a chance.
Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible, because audience, I was saying to Craig, I'd watched several episodes of The Rev, and I thought it was very, very well produced. And who knew about the equipment piece of it? You think, this is big old USA Network. They have all of their fancy smancy cameras and all that. But Craig is telling us that this is equipment that he invested in years ago, even prior to going to China or getting that call. You didn't buy it specifically for that.
Well, what I did was I shot what's called the sizzle reel for The Rev, with the equipment that I had the faith to buy. Okay. So once I shot that sizzle reel and sent it off to my connection in Hollywood, they saw it. They called me back. We're excited about this. Let's talk about this. And then we went through a series of different things, because Lifetime TV wanted to pick up the show first.
Wow. Okay.
And then when Lifetime decided to pass, USA was on board, BET was interested, OWN was interested, so a lot of folks, and Netflix was interested, so a lot of folks were interested. And then when we finally got the deal, I didn't have to use my camera anymore, because at that time I was elevated to executive producer and creator of the show. God we had a crew of average about 30, 35 people that came from LA and Atlanta and different places around the globe to shoot in New York, scenes for the Rev. So while COVID was going on, God was still doing all these things, sustaining his people, opening up doors, creating jobs. You know, politicians like to talk about how many jobs they created, but I'd like to talk about how many jobs I created through having faith in God.
Love it.
You know,
love it.
3 or 4 producers on the scene, 3 camera people, sound technicians, production. We took over Richard Hartley's garage. It was production central every day. They couldn't get their cars in there anymore because it was actually the production where we stayed, where all the cameras and everything stayed in overnight and so forth. So, you know, faith opened up a lot of doors for a lot of people, supplied a lot of jobs for a lot of people. And that's what the obedience to God will do. And I'm not talking about, you know, minimum wage jobs. I'm talking about nice, hefty salaries, you know.
Wow. That is so incredible. That's what I'm talking about. Look, I feel like if I'm doing anything that's for profit, Deborah should not be the only one profiting.
Oh, not at all.
And that's exactly what you have just conveyed to us. You put other people on, and everyone who knows me well knows that that's a principle that I work by. I believe in cooperative economics and collective work. So there are very few things that we can do alone. I don't know anyone out there taking, I mean, I do know there's this person, but there are a lot of people who are out there taking credit for everything they've ever gotten in life.
Right.
And never, first of all, never giving God credit.
Never.
But never giving people around them credit. You know, if you're a successful musician, you're only successful because someone is listening to your music, right?
Amen.
You know, if you are in any profession that is a service to mankind, to humanity, you're only able to advance in that field because someone needs the service and you're providing it, not because you're just so wonderful. It is a service that you're providing, and people repeat support of that service. Let's talk about the Rev now. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. My sister, who is here with us, Juanita, drop a comment about your enjoyment of the Rev. I was telling Craig that it was you who told me about the show. Richard Hartley, overseer Richard Hartley, used to be at our home church, Walker Memorial Baptist Church up in Bronx, and, many years ago. And here's a little story that I'm pretty sure Richard has forgotten. My son was probably like 2 years old. Juanita, you're going to remember this story. My son was about 2 years old. He'll be 22 in a few weeks. And he loved to play the drums. You know, he loved to play the drums. And we were having a concert at Walker Memorial. I think it was a Christmas concert. I don't remember. But Richard was conducting, you know, he was conducting the choir or whatever. And his son, wherever my son was sitting, the person let him get up and go and just go in the aisles. And he ended up standing next to Richard and competing with Richard to conduct the choir. And I'm saying this to share with people. You all should watch the Rev because he handled it in a very humorous way, which is a part of his personality. I guess some people might call him eccentric. I think that's what they call him when you look at the reviews. I don't call him eccentric. I think he has fun with his life.
He does.
He has fun with his life. And that show brought out many good things about their family. I remember Mickey. Mickey was such a nice person.
And today's his birthday too.
Is it his birthday? Well,
happy birthday, Mickey.
Happy birthday, Mickey, if he's watching. You know, it takes a person, and this is what people might not know about someone who has a personality like Mickey. It takes someone who's very confident being who they are to be really close to someone who has a whole lot of character, and it
Right.
fills a room like Overseer Richard Hartley. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
Absolutely. It's important. We're talking about the things that I've done, but I've also, in terms of leading and being a producer and cameraman and doing all these different things, I've learned how to be a follower. I've
Mm-hmm.
learned how to work with people in a role that I'm assigned. So where I may be sometimes be part of the support. So, if I go in and I do something and somebody asks me to be a sound technician, I don't go there trying to tell somebody how to do their job. I go and I get in where I fit in, as they say.
That's right. That's
So
right.
Mickey understands his role,
Mm-hmm.
and when you understand the role, because the bottom line is for us all to win.
That's right.
That's the bottom line, and God wants us all to win, and we win. But that's one of the reasons why, if you look at my posts, you hardly ever see me talking about the devil,
Right.
because the devil can't be in more than one place at one time.
Right.
He can't. God is omnipresent, so he can be everywhere at any time. But the devil can't be. So I don't give the devil a credit. I know he has people out there working for him, but I know God has so many more people out there doing great things and just showering people with love. And I know that God is doing the things that he wants to do because he still has people down here on earth that are doing his will.
Absolutely. And I think that was very well said because, like you said, you don't speak a lot about the devil. So when we do, we're inviting him into where God is already present, right? And so,
Absolutely.
so then in our own minds, we're warring against what God has already set for us on our behalf,
Mm-hmm.
the good,
Yes.
right? When we bring him into everything. There's a meme going around now. I think it says, it's not always the devil, sometimes it's you. So we got to consider those you moments,
That's the thing. So many people, if you look on social media, people say, "Oh, I'm cutting off my haters, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that." But a lot of the things that we say are in contradiction to the word. The
Mhm.
Bible tells us to love thy enemies. You know,
Right,
you got to do good to those that do evil to you.
right,
God doesn't tell you to cut folks off, because if you cut them off, how are you going to witness to them?
right.
How are you going to share the love of God to them? So, I know we're divided, and you've got this party, you got that party, you know, we're missing the point.
Yeah,
We've got to live down here together. Yes, we're going to have differences, and we're never going to meet, fully on everything, but we've got to understand that God is love, and love is the key.
that's right. And I always say, I'm really passionate about justice or issues of injustice. I'm very,
Yeah,
very passionate about it, but
absolutely.
never go so far as to not allow space for redemption, right?
Absolutely.
I keep that in the forefront of my movements. I can remember the first year under the former president. I was
Hmm.
so angry and posting every day, blah, 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 just my own rhetoric and
He,
so angry.
he
As
can
did
make you do that.
yeah, as did a lot of people, but
Hmm.
the Most High God said, "Stop it,
Yeah. Yeah.
stop it," because this
Right.
is not productive.
Right.
you know does that mean that he didn't continue to say things that make me want to post? I still posted, but I'm
Hmm.
telling you, it was every day.
Yeah.
And the Lord was like, that's enough,
Yeah.
because you're giving too much energy to this thing
Right.
that you're not happy about. you know
Absolutely.
and so I think we have to think on a deeper level. So let me see if I can get us back to the rev.
Okay.
And Craig and I were talking before we came on, everybody, about the show. I would like
Hmm.
for Craig, if he doesn't mind, sharing with us how the show did and where we are with the show, the Rev.
The show was a great success in that, I told everybody that we were able to supply so many jobs, so many people with different opportunities. I met so many new people, and just to see the walk of faith supply, at least 30 some odd jobs was incredible. The Rev and his family, First Lady Stacey Hartley, the daughter Judea and Jordan. You talk about working from home. That was the ultimate job, working from home. When TV crews are in your house, all you have to do is wake up. You got hair and makeup, lunch and everything, clothing, everything there at your house. So that's the ultimate work from home. And then to see yourself on TV, and this all happening during a pandemic, is just incredible. Incredible. So the show was great. We did 8 episodes, and we put us on at 10:30. We debuted on what was it? Thanksgiving. There was a sneak peek on Thanksgiving, and then there was another sneak peek on Christmas Day. It was phenomenal. We thank God for the opportunity. Unfortunately, we didn't get the second season of The Rev to be aired on USA TV, because the numbers weren't where they should be. If you understand anything about the industry, be it radio, TV, or anything, it's about numbers.
Sure.
So I felt, and this is my personal feeling, because we were put on Thursday night at 10:30 at night, it was really tough to pull in the kind of numbers that we needed to pull in to have a successful ratings. So, and then when we got moved to 11 o'clock, it made it even more difficult, because you got to compete with the news, you got to compete with people, in their regular routines at 11 o'clock. So it was just difficult. So unfortunately, we didn't get a second season, but we thank God for what we did get, and we broke a lot of ground, and we're looking for what God is going to do next, because like I told Richard, God has a plan.
Absolutely. Well, we're disappointed that it didn't get picked up for a second season. I encourage anyone, and my sister says she's actually watching the repeats of the episodes right now. So I encourage everyone to go and catch them on demand. And let me say something, because you all know I'm going to do this. Let's look at what Craig just said. All right. So we were talking. The BET Awards were just this past Sunday. And I was saying to Craig, and I don't know what his timeline looks like, and any of you can share what your timeline looks like as a result of the BET Awards this past Sunday. But there is a lot of negativity. And when I say negative, people were not happy with whatever they viewed. I have to be honest, I did not watch the BET Awards. I've seen what BET has been posting on Instagram. And what they posted that really made me happy was Queen Latifah winning the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Right.
I'm always happy to see what happens with the Lifetime Achievement Awards. I remember when Michael Jackson passed, it was going to be I think it was a pretty much horrible show until the OJs came out. It was just wonderful, because we were all so sad, and then the entertainment was like blah. But here's something I want to say. We hear Craig saying that unfortunately the time slot that USA assigned them was 10:30 in the beginning, and then they pushed it up to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
I try to stay awake to watch my Seinfeld, but I will definitely go to sleep at 11:30, right? But like he said, routines. Now, would I switch from Seinfeld? Maybe, maybe not. The problem we have is that we have everybody complaining about what they did not like during the BET Awards. But this show was not picked up for a second season. So I don't think we can have it both ways. Either we're going to just stop looking at the BET Awards and then go and search and find something like The Rev and support it. He's one of our own, right? Richard Hartley is one of our own. When I say one of our own, I'm talking to the church community. It doesn't matter what your expectations for the show might have been. We should have been there as one, united behind this family to help them make sure that they could come back for a second season, because we see so many things that are being renewed all across the networks that we continue to complain about. And even as it relates to BET, there may have been things that recoiled some in the church community, but all of it wasn't bad, right? I mean, all
Right.
of it wasn't bad.
Right.
So we can't really have it both ways, can we? I say BET continues to do what BET is going to do because we're already familiar with what BET does. But when USA takes a chance um, on the faith community,
Yeah.
understand it's a faith community.
Yeah.
You know, we have to show up and support. There's no time for talking about what you don't like. We have to support. Now, some of us won't support the Rev because you have your own opinions about that.
Right.
But when you don't support it, guess what? That doesn't get renewed. BET is going to be back here again next year because there are enough people who do support it. Why
That's right.
can't we do the same thing? Craig, tell us a little bit about the industry from that perspective and trying to push out the word of, so that we can learn how to support each other more better, you know.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. We need to support the things that are good. We need to be more assertive in in the things that are good and the things that are not so good. You know, because there's a lot of great artists out there in music and on TV, and it all comes down to one thing. It comes down to the numbers.
Yeah.
So when they look at TV and they see you're watching Cardi B and they see that you're watching Megan Thee Stallion and they see that you're watching all the other things, they're going to say, oh, they like this.
Yeah.
Oh, they love this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give them more.
Yeah.
So when they see things like The Rev and other good shows and they don't see your support behind it, they're going to say, maybe, I guess they don't like this as much.
Yeah.
I guess this is, we can do something different or go a different way. But the important part of which you talked about is you got to put your support behind it, because where's the next Rev?
Right.
They're going to look at the current Rev and say, well, that didn't work with that community. What makes you think this next Rev is going to work with the community? Because they didn't support that one. And we thought this one was great.
Right.
And the good thing about the Rev, it was funny.
It was funny.
It was true to life. And there was no drama. Nobody was fighting anybody. Nobody was pulling out hair and,
right.
Calling each other the B word and all that stuff that they do on other reality shows.
Yeah.
So when you got an opportunity, and, when I first went to Hollywood, they said to me, this is like hitting the lottery, because there are a lot of reality shows that get pitched, but very few get picked up.
Yeah.
So it's not that we had a bad show. We had a great show.
You had a great show.
We just didn't have the numbers. And I attribute it to, that time slot wasn't the greatest, but also, whatever the time slot is, just need people to support it so they can see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
The bigger picture is, let's support this. So the next thing that we want to do will gain the same type of support and we'll have the same doors open. I personally, I don't want to have to keep opening doors.
Right.
Let's keep the door open.
Keep the door open. Oh my goodness. Yes. Can that door stay open for a minute?
God says, knock and the door shall be open.
That's right.
He never said it's going to close. So while that door is open, I want to get in there, do what we have to do. Guess what? Bring the next thing in, bring the next thing in, bring the next thing in, bring the next quality show in. So when God opens something, just like he's the author and the finisher of our faith, he keeps it open. And, he allows us. There are more things out there waiting for us. Don't get me wrong and don't get God wrong. There are more things out there waiting for us. So, that's pretty much how the industry works. They work off of numbers. Mm-hmm. They work off your support. And when they see the clicks, if you're streaming and things like that, when they see the clicks, they're counting those clicks. Yeah. They know what you're watching. They know what you're not watching because they don't see any clicks.
Right.
So all those things make a difference. So when you see people like Kim Kardashian and they have millions of followers, whatever Kim wants to do, they're going to do because they know there's millions of people following her and going to see it.
Yeah.
TV is all about eyeballs. The internet is all about eyeballs. So if they can get you to watch it through somebody else, they're going to support that somebody else.
Yeah, because it's all about them. It's a business. And so we're not going to begrudge their business model, right? So because he's just broken it down to us, but I think more than likely we knew this, right? Tell us before we move from here, when we DVR it, does that count?
Yes.
It does count.
Absolutely.
See, that's the thing. I've been watching. I told Craig I'm a people watcher, and I am a people watcher. I looked at artists during the pandemic, and everybody's life was turned upside down, right? In terms of how we're going to continue to earn, how we're going to keep the message out there, and but I've watched some artists, and so they continue to engage with their supporters during the pandemic, and now they're well poised to go back out and start doing live performances.
Yeah.
But I don't want us to miss that it's important also to the networks that we DVR their programs.
Yeah.
It's so simple. But the reason why I connected the two is one group in particular, that one of my favorites. They released their album. I can't remember, in April. They released their album Easter weekend.
Okay.
In April, and so many of us supported it, and it was virtual.
Okay.
That is because they kept talking about it. So when you see something, when I see something that's good, we have got to, if you're on Instagram, repost it. If you're on Facebook, share it. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. All the language. I don't know Snapchat, and I don't know how TikTok works. These are the old school ones that I know. We just have to share. It costs us nothing to share.
It takes a little second to click something.
Right. And you don't have to even give any commentary. Y'all know I give commentary all the time. You don't have to do that. Just post it. Just share it, because people need to hear and be exposed to better. Let me get some of the comments over here, because everybody's trying to get you all back on the networks, because I see somebody asking Nikki Nicole, who was on last week, my good friend Nikki Nicole, who's also an artist. Hopefully you two can connect at some point if that's what the Lord leads you both to do. She's saying, what about Netflix and Hulu? Can you possibly go there? And he mentioned that Netflix was also interested before. My sister said, are you able to pitch it to another network? So everybody wants to see it back on, but don't miss that Craig said that door is not closed. There are other plans that God has for them. Right. And there's this one song by Richard, and I know he has a lot, that I love. It's called Jesus Makes Me Happy.
Yeah.
I don't know how popular it was. It was popular to me. And so they're not like downtrodden. They understand how the industry works. Certainly, and don't let me speak for you, Craig. Certainly you all wanted it to be picked up again. But I know that because you both know and believe that it is Jesus in which you find your happiness, there will be other great opportunities, not only for his family and you as an executive producer and those 30 people who you put on. You know, that door is open. That door is open. But like Craig said, we got to make sure the door stays open, because he's tired, and many of us are tired of having to reopen doors. I love that statement, Craig. Who else is here? My good friend, I'm about to mess it up. Oh my goodness, I'm so horrible. Ben Israel. T Ben Israel. I'm so sorry, my brother. But he just did a benefit fundraiser a couple of weeks ago. He did a benefit concert with Atlantic Star.
Nice.
It was excellent.
Wow.
And he's doing the work, and the kind of work that he does is to build up the community, to try to eradicate homelessness,
that's great,
unemployment in the South Bronx. So I want you to be encouraged also, my brother, because Craig is not saying anything that you didn't experience. And everybody's not going to support us. We have to understand that. But for those who support us, we have to thank God for them and just keep moving forward, because from those who support us and we know, we will get supporters that we don't know. I truly believe that. What do you say, Craig?
I say you're absolutely right. You know, there are people out there that I come across on social media, and I see something that they're doing or saying, I click like. And I put a post up today. I was driving into a gated community, and I came up to security, and the young black sister came out the booth and said to me, she said, let me see your ID. So I gave it to her and she was smiling. I said, what are you smiling about? She said, oh, I just passed my test and I got a job. I'm an RN and I got my first job, and I'm going to start at a hospital. So I'm like, congratulations. That's really big. I didn't know her, but it was an encounter. I saw the smile. A lot of times, we don't support each other unless we know each other.
Yeah.
I don't need to know you to support you. If I see your what you're doing is positive and going in the right direction, I'm going to support you. If I see you doing something that's going in the wrong direction, I'm going to try to steer you in the right direction. I'm not going to try to throw you away,
Yes. We got to stop throwing each other away. My sister had mentioned that in her comments earlier about she doesn't believe in canceling people.
Right.
I think that's a phrase that's just getting us lost in the words that people say, rather than seeing that some of the words, some of the things being said come from a place of hurt, deep pain, that if we're just patient, we might be able to break through a little bit for them. And so, this conversation is so rich to me, Craig. And that's why I was saying to you all, I saw that post that he put up about the sister at the security box, and from security to an RN, and the fact that, you know what, I feel like y'all spirits must have met, because she was happy, so happy that she shared her really good news with someone she didn't know.
Right.
But at least it came back to her in a blessing.
It's always great to celebrate somebody,
It's easy too, right?
Yeah, and you know what? If I say to you hi and have a nice day, you don't know what that does to somebody. It's a seed that you planted, and what did I tell you before about the seed experience?
Yes.
It grows. So if you plant the right kind of seed, you're going to get that kind of harvest.
Yes. And I tell you, I'm being inspired. Listen, is there anyone out there who's about to do something new and afraid, have more fear than you have faith? Because that happens to us. If we're honest, even as faithful people, we become frightened at the prospect of success.
Absolutely.
At the prospect of success.
I'm even at times afraid of success because, it's unknown territory,
Yes.
and you don't want rejection. There are a lot of things that, will happen at the right time, but you've got to at least know that God has planted that seed in your mind because he wants you to start working on it. For the longest during the pandemic, I didn't want to do any live performances because the majority of the live performances I heard over the internet, the audio quality was terrible. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go out like that, but God was, I tell you, God is amazing. I have this interface that I'm using that I'm actually talking through right now. And when I put my sax through it and everything, it sounds like you're in a concert hall. It sounds like you're in the studio with me. So I have no more problems doing a live performance. And it's just something that God has worked out over time that allowed me to work out in my head to figure out how to do this. And now, whenever I have to do something as far as live performance, I've got the equipment to do it. And matter of fact, I have something coming up that I'm performing for an hour with the NFL in a couple weeks.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's just mind blowing too. And we've been trying to do this maybe for about a year now. I was supposed to play at the Super Bowl.
Really?
I was supposed to play at the Super Bowl, but because of the pandemic and things like that, a lot of things were scaled back. So that didn't happen. But thank God that the relationship is still there. And in a couple of weeks, I'll be playing for the NFL moms and things like that.
That is so wonderful. Oh my goodness. So that's going to be a private thing. So if we're not an NFL mom, I guess we can't hear that. But what do you have for us tonight, Craig? Do you have anything for us in terms of your music tonight?
Oh.
Oh. Look, Nikki just dropped bars last week.
Listen, I promise I'll do this.
Okay.
I'm not prepared to play tonight, but I will come back and do a live performance with you. I'll come back and I'll do that.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all heard it, right? It's being recorded. He cannot renege on this unless it's death or illness. Okay. Look, oh my goodness. That is such a blessing, Craig. I'm serious. If everybody knows me, and I said this last week with Nikki's show, I love jazz. I love jazz. I always have. I've always been like that old spirit. But once there was a transition, I mentioned this last week too, that transition in music in the late 90s, early 2000s. I just sort of leaned into CD 101. I'm sure you're very familiar with that.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But then they took it away from us. They took it away.
I know.
But still, artists have been performing like Craig. I don't know if you call yourself smooth jazz, but I love the saxophone. And I love like people like Keiko Matsui and Brian Culberson with his keys and everything else he does. I just love jazz. So when he says he's coming back, look, when we get off, I'm going to try to book him. I'm going to try to book him to come back. But the NFL moms are going to be blessed. Let me see what we're going to put up here for contacting you, because you do perform for private events as well, right?
I do an outstanding amount of private events because people are always asking me, when are you going to perform live? And I say, I'm doing things. Like I have something coming up in August, the first week in August 6th and 7th in New York. And that's the Jamaica Arts and Music Festival. Okay. It's called Jams. And every year, except for the last 2 years, every year we get together and we shut down Jamaica Avenue for 10 blocks from Parsons Boulevard to 170th Street. And it's nothing but festival. It's a sea of people. We have 128,000 people that attend the festival every year. And I'm in charge of the music stage. And we have performances going on Friday night. And we have performances going all day Saturday. So it's a huge, huge event. And it's been going on for 25 years. This is our 25th anniversary coming up this August.
Really? Okay. So if they go to CraigCrawfordPlayers.com, will they see about jams up there?
They won't see it there, but if they go to the Cultural Collaborative Jamaica, they'll see it there. Or there's an app and there's a website called go2ccj.org. So it's go2ccj.org.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the comments. Go to ccj.org. Okay. Listen, this is fabulous. Now, how can we purchase your music?
You can get my music on any digital platform, be it the Apple iTunes, if that's still the name. No, go to the number 2 instead of TO. So it's the number 2.
Oh, the number
CCJ, 2. Yes. You can get my music anywhere online where music is sold. You can get it from my website, but you'll get a digital download from any of the digital stores. I've got new music coming up I've been holding it and it's burning my pocket, but I've got new music coming. And I'm just waiting for the right time because I want to be able to perform it live. Okay. I didn't want to do everything virtual, even though I know that's a thing. But I wanted to be able to get before people and be with people. But, I'm getting kind of antsy, so I may just put it out there and get things going.
Awesome. The dates again, was that August 6th and 7th or
Yes,
7th and 8th?
that's Jams, August 6th and 7th. There'll be some advertisement. It'll be on my page. It'll be on the Cultural Collaborative Jamaica page, and you'll start seeing things around very shortly because that date is coming up quick.
It is. It's like tomorrow. So listen, I think I corrected it. Is that correct now?
That is correct. Hmm.
Okay, so I like to put these in the show so that just in case you all are not getting it quickly, you can always rewind it. You know, I'm going to repost this 2 or 3 times so that you all can share. No, you know why I do that? Because people really, we're all so very busy. Even during the pandemic, we were all so busy.
Yeah.
And I like to repost it 2 or 3 times so that it can maximize the exposure to
Yeah.
my guests and the information that you are sharing. And I tell you, this has been so rich for me. I'm so happy for all of you who have joined us tonight. Please go find Craig's music at any of those outlets, iTunes, Amazon.
Yes.
All the places that you typically purchase your music. And let me say purchase.
Hmm.
As I said last week, it's important for artists to have the support by a download. They're really inexpensive. Just go through the snippets that are up there for their whole project. If you
Yeah.
like one song and not the entire album, download one. It's
Hmm.
very important. As I said last week, Anita Baker is asking people not to stream her music
Hmm.
free through one of the free services because she is trying to get her masters back. This is
Right.
the way we can support easily. Two,
Right.
$3, $2, $3, or $9 for the entire album. That's nothing for any of us to
Right.
help these artists stay afloat. So please, let's do our part. Let's do our part. Look,
And,
Craig, go
can
ahead.
I add to that? And
Yeah.
I just want to say, Dr. Deborah, that your show is such quality. Sitting here talking to you, I'm having a wonderful time. I think we're connecting with the audience, and I think they understand your heart. They understand mine, and these are the kind of things when you talk about support. You need to continue to support. You need to continue to share because there's a lot of things out there that are talking about nothing. If you want to be real honest, are talking about nothing. And you're getting this information free of charge. I don't see any sponsors coming up, so you need to support Dr. Deborah Jenkins so she can continue to do this. She's not asking you for any donation, but
No, no.
no, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of coordination. There's a lot of things behind the scenes. So if you want to give, you want to help Dr. Deborah Jenkins, she needs to put her, cash app up there. And I'm serious, you need to support her because, she's saying a lot of things that are really good. She's saying a lot of things that are important to our community and in support of our community. So one day you're going to say, I miss Deborah Jenkins' show. Where is it? And she's not going to be doing it because you didn't support it. So I think we need to support. We need to make it bigger than what it is because it is big, and we need to make Deborah Jenkins somebody that everybody looks forward to every week.
Oh my goodness. So my sister, Juanita, Deacon Sanja, you both know me that I'm a teardrop. And so Craig is trying to get me to cry here, but I will not cry. But let me say, I'm going to say this to you all about what Craig has just said, and I'm so appreciative. We talked in the green room to the point where I was talking when we should have been live, but he has absolutely no idea about my announcement that's coming up on Thursday. He has no idea. But what he said, I need you all to rewind it if you missed it and remember it on Thursday when I make my big announcement. I tell you, when I saw that planting the seed post of yours,
Yes.
and then to hear you say what you just said, I tell you, I have to be quiet for a second because I'm not going to start crying here. I'm feeling incredibly blessed to have you here tonight, Craig, and to have you allow the Lord to lead you to say what you just said, because you don't know. You have no idea. I'm telling you all, he doesn't know. Leilani knows. My sister knows. Nobody else here knows
Mm.
what Craig is talking about. Craig don't even know because that was the spirit of the Lord moving in him to have him say that. And so I thank you so much. Yes, Deacon Sanja, confirmation. Yes, I thank you so much for that. Now y'all ain't getting my Cash App because Black Talk platform, it has to remain a space where I can just bring on voices like Craig's and amplify them. You know, I don't owe anybody when I do this. And for those of you who've been with me for this more than a year now with Black Talk platform, I've never taken any money. I have been able to address the issues in the Black community. And this right here, the music, Black Music Month, is so important. I can remember being, I don't even know if you know this artist, Craig, Terry Huff, from my childhood. He had this song called The Lonely One. And it's four of us as sisters, but it was only me and Juanita as we were growing up. And so Juanita is my oldest sister. And when she would get mad with me and not want to play, I would hear that song come on and I would just go and sing it. And it helped me until she decided she wanted to play with me again. So music has such a healing property for our community in particular, because we've gone through so much. Music has always redirected us back to the Lord, and that's why I'm so honored to have you here, Craig. And I just wish you all that God has for you. And I think it's so much more than you've even seen. And you've done a whole lot. You're about to play for the NFL. You've worked with Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and Oscar Robertson, and other NBA players, and Richard Hartley, right? And you know so many people. But what you've been given, you've given back. And so I'm just so godly pleased to have you here tonight. I really, really am.
Thank you. You're right. I don't know what's going on, that you have to share on Thursday. But I do know this, the Spirit bears witness to himself. Whatever the Spirit of God is doing, he bears witness through others, and they don't have to know. But I do know this. If you, the viewers that are viewing this program, if you would sow your seed in this show that's good ground, you're going to be blessed. Because when you sow into somebody else, guess what? God's going to sow back into you. God's going to give you what you put out. Not just the same thing.
Yes.
God's going to give you 10, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. He's going to blow your mind. And trust me, when I tell you, God has blown my mind, and he's been doing it since I gave my life to him at the age of 18.
Hallelujah.
I haven't had a perfect walk, but I tell you one thing, everything that I have, I'm so blessed. I don't even tell everybody how blessed I am because I don't want it to seem like I'm showing off.
Right.
But that's what God will do if you seek him, if you stay with him. He says, draw nigh to me and I'll draw nigh unto you.
Yes.
The closer you get to God, the closer he gets to you. So the things that God has done for me, the Bible also tells us he has no respect of person. So what he's done for me, he can do it for you. It's no big deal. God wants all of his children to be blessed. So I'm saying this to say, bless this show. Bless Dr. Deborah Jenkins and all that she's doing. Be a blessing to her. Whatever it is, a blessing is a blessing. A seed is a seed. If it's a mustard seed, if it's a watermelon seed, if it's a mango seed, whatever the side seed, you sow that seed and you do what you can do and God will honor it.
Love it. I love it. I so appreciate that. Thank you so much, Craig Crawford. Look, I'm holding you to it. If I have to send this this recording to you to remind you that you said you come back. That is what I will do. But I
We'll
believe
do
you
it.
will keep your word, and we look forward to you coming back. This has been a blessing, a much needed break from the heat, the extreme heat here in New York. Today and throughout the country in different places. We needed this because we're inside because it's so hot to be outside. But
Wow.
this has been really a blessing, Craig. I wish God's greatest mercies and blessings to be yours and your families and all those who you come into contact with.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you to your viewers for having me and to showing me the love, and I look forward to the next time.
God bless you. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. If you're interested, come on back on Thursday for the big announcement at 7 p.m. and I'll be talking about it. God bless you all. Have a good night. Craig, I'll see you in the green room.
Okay, great.